Ka! Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. I am here in Bangkok, Thailand. And last time I was here, if you recall, I made a really fun episode about the top 5 noodle soups that I recommend you have while you're here in Thailand. This year we'll do a similar thing, but with a different twist. We're gonna look at the top 5 rice dishes that I recommend you have. At least one of them, give it a try when you're in Bangkok. Let's go! So we're on our way to our first rice dish. Now some of you may be thinking, don't Thai people eat most things with rice anyway? And that's true. But the things that we want to talk about in this top 5 is a particular kind of rice dish. It's a category of food called ahan jaan dio, which means single dish meal. And that's basically, you know, a meal on one plate, as opposed to family style eating that we usually do for dinner when we eat with a lot of people, where we have rice and then we eat other things with rice. So that's like a multiple dish meal. So that's sort of the things that we're looking at today. So our first dish is something called Kao Mok Gai. Let's go take a look. Having Kao Mok Gai. Now I wanted to start with this because it's something a little different, a little harder to find, okay? And it's basically a dish that's a specialty of the Muslims who live in Thailand, of which there are actually many, and they make wonderful, wonderful food. So Kao Mok Gai, I think there's a sort of the same dish in Indian culture. It's called biryani. So basically the same thing. So it's rice that's been cooked with all sorts of spices. The yellow comes from turmeric and also saffron. Some places use saffron. This stuff is fried shallots, and then let me reveal to you, dun, 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 the chicken. So this chicken is marinated with yogurt and a lot of Indian spices, and it's been cooked with the rice until it's super, super tender. See? So tender. And this place actually happens to be pretty famous for this dish, so that's why we followed it here. There's raisins in the rice, and the dipping sauce is sort of a sweet and sour, sort of vinegary, sugary chili. Oh, ขอบคุณค่ะ Water is here. So anyway, the dipping sauce is like a chili, vinegary, spicy, sweet dipping sauce that's to balance out sort of the saltiness of the chicken. So here we go. Wow, that's a big bite. Super flavorful rice, really tender chicken. Shallots are really, really crispy. And a lot of times they'll serve their Kao Mok Gai with a soup. Well, you have to order it separately, but a lot of places will also have it. And it's like a chicken soup and, you know, something to wash it all down. It's a little refreshing break between bites. And yes, definitely give Kao Mok Gai a try. It's a little harder to find, but if you find a good Muslim restaurant, I'm almost certain they're gonna have it. So we are here at a weekend market. Now I was here for another video way back when I did a little tour of this market. Now here they also have a little area for food, and here's what we're gonna have. We're gonna have one of the most popular rice dishes. It is called Khao Kha Mu, and it's rice with pork legs, okay? And here it is right in front of me. And quite simply, it's rice. And the pork leg has been stewed for hours and hours with soy sauce and lots of spices like cinnamon, star anise as the main flavor. And then the gravy, this is the liquid that the pork was stewed in. And it's always served with some pickled mustard greens, a little tiny bit of vegetables just to add some greens, and also some boiled eggs. And you always have a choice if you want only meat or you want meat and skin. So I ordered meat and skin to show you, even though normally I only have meat. Here we go. This is really good. It's salty, just a tiny little bit of sweet, but not too much. The pickled mustard greens is sort of the sour part that you can sort of eat along with your pork. So you've got bursts of acidity to balance out all the salt and sweetness. It's rich in a way, but it's not, because there's not that much food. So it's a great filling meal. And they always have these condiments right here that you can see. So this is basically vinegar and chili that's been blended up together, and some extra fresh garlic, extra fresh chilies right here, and I'm not sure what that is. I think that's just another variety of chili and vinegar and lime. But basically with Kao Mu, the seasoning you want to go with it is vinegary stuff, because this is salty and fatty and sweet. And yep, that is our Kao Mu. Be sure to give it a try. It's very, very widely available anywhere. And of course, I cannot do a top 5 without including the single most popular rice dish in Thailand, at least, based on the fact that they're just everywhere. It is Kao Mok Gai, or Hainanese chicken rice. I've done a recipe recently on this dish, and here we're gonna have another one that I didn't make. So here it is. Kao Mok Gai is basically poached chicken. Okay, so it's just simple poached chicken, and it's served with this rice which was cooked in the chicken fat, and then the liquid that's used to cook the rice is chicken broth. So the rice is actually very, very flavorful. And then it's here served with this block of blood, that's cooked chicken blood. Okay, and it's standard, accompaniment. And then the sauce, this is nam jim tao jiao. I also made a recipe for this as well. And it's basically a dipping sauce that's salty and spicy. It's got fermented soybean paste, garlic and chilies. So that's sort of the main dipping sauce. Now this place was generous enough to give you extra extra ginger and extra chilies for those of you who want to add extra spiciness to your sauce. And always some chicken broth to wash it all down. As you notice, that's kind of a pattern with a lot of these rice dishes, because rice is a dry thing, so a little broth to wash it all down is really nice. And this broth happens to be the broth that the chicken was cooked in. So when you go to these Kao Mok Gai places, if you go late, sometimes the broth will be more concentrated later in the day and extra flavorful. So that's a tip if they don't run out first. Here we go. This is almost as good as mine. I'm just kidding. It's actually very, very good. And it's quite spicy, the dipping sauce. It's something you want to watch for. You want to just make sure you taste it a little bit first before you dump it all on. Let's wash it down with some of this broth. Really, really nice and sweet. There must be lots of chickens that were cooked in this thing. And then they also, often anyway, have a piece of winter melon that they include in the broth as well. So it's a nice little vegetable touch. Oh, almost forgot. This place has this extra stuff on the table, which is black soy sauce. And when I did my recipe, I put the black soy sauce directly into the dipping sauce. But sometimes they'll separate it for those who, so people can have a chance to customize their dipping sauce. And that is Kao Mok Gai for you.